Hey guys, Chris at The Ultimate Recycler. We're cleaning up the stuff we got from the retro house lot recently. Pardon the traffic noise, we're out in the main street in front of our shops. It's fairly early in the morning. It's going to be quite a warm day, so we thought we'd get an early start. We have Coco down here as an overseer. What we're doing is processing all the stuff we packed in the van. We've already unloaded the trailer and the ute. We did 2 loads in that, and we got rid of all the beds. So the van's all the small stuff, it's all packed under blankets there, and we're just gradually getting it out and processing it. And I'll show you how we deal with it all. We tend to do this on the footpath out the front of the shops because it's amazing how much we actually sell from people just walking past. So Christine's pricing things here. Morning, Christine.
Hello.
We're going to take a few photos of these things and throw them on Facebook Marketplace. Those chairs are just going to be 20 bucks a set. Little walking machines only going to be 10. We got some pretty good value out of the old woolen blankets. They're all Australian made, and they're in pretty good condition, so they will add up to a bit. We also have a free pile. As I said in the previous 2 videos, we really try not to add to stuff going to landfill, and a lot of people are happy to grab the free stuff and use it in some form or another. Some bar stools here, we've put 20 on the set. And so all the small stuff's going to take us a long time to get through. We won't process that out in the street, but we are doing a few things. And Christine's making a list here where we record all the items, anything better than say $5 or $5 and up. And we do need to allocate serial numbers to everything as part of our obligations for a second-hand dealer's license in Australia. And that's just in case the police are trying to chase something that's stolen. We have a record of where we got it from. So the little stuff we're just going to keep in boxes for now. We won't process that out here. We'll just try and get rid of some of the bigger stuff and make a bit of a start. And here's the inside processing facility, the back of my shop. It's gets a bit out of control sometimes when we do house lots, but we usually get here in the mornings and do a few boxes. Hi Christine.
Hello.
We're unwrapping all the kitchen stuff that has been packaged, and we've got to sort it and see what's involved in the sets. This one's my coffee, we're not selling that. Some of these retro sets are going to be pretty popular. That's English made, and some of them are broken, and of course some or most of the sets are usually missing 1 or 2, but we just make them up into saleable quantities. Some of those coffee cups will probably be giveaways. We have boxes for things that we find parts of, and we're waiting to see if the rest of it turns up. Cardboard and glassware and stuff that is recyclable, we recycle it. There will be some rubbish, sometimes things a bit too disgusting and not really saleable. We always have a box for giveaways, so this will go out the front for free today. Stuff that really isn't worth $5 or we couldn't be bothered dealing with. There's also tubs of stuff, kitchenalia bits and pieces, I'll just put in a box for $1 each. We try and save our newspaper if we can, unless we've got heaps of it, but at the moment we're a bit short, so we'll reuse that. We also, as we're going through things, we turn up lots of old plastic bags and things, so they can all be recycled through RedCycle in Australia. So we try and keep as much as we can out of the rubbish, as we've explained. A lot of interesting stuff to go through. I haven't seen in most of this because Christine packed up a lot of the house lot. So here's what we do inside. Basically, it takes a while to get through it all. Whoops, what did we see? A spider?
No, cockroach.
A cockroach.
Excuse my language.
I don't think the microphone picked that up. If it did, you didn't hear it, guys.
You didn't hear it. I'm a good girl.
So there's, a lot of just little knickknacks. But our shops really work well with curios. So, all this stuff really just makes for interesting shops. So there you go, we'll keep at it, and before we finish up this video, we'll get you a bit of a list of some of the better items, and we might do a 4th video on this series, just a final tally up, and we'll give you a top 10 of the 10 best things we found in dollar terms. And sometimes it's quite surprising. Quite often we find something that we didn't even see when we were cleaning up that turns out to be a ripper. So stay tuned. Just sorting out some more of this glassware this morning. We tend to unpack and process early in the mornings to get through piles of boxes. And these, I think I showed these crystal vases in one of the crystal glasses in one of the earlier episodes. Stuart Crystal, really washed up nicely. We'll probably put about $50 on the set of those 6. Bit of 60s or 70s glassware, bit of green glass, some red. Red always looks good in the window. So I don't know if the full set of those are there or not.
Which one?
The red ones.
No, there's only 2.
Okay. Anyway, they'll sell all right. So processing, we call this, we often do an hour or so each morning, washing up a lot of glassware. It takes a lot of time. Don't have a dishwasher at the shop, but I don't mind washing it up. We do sort some of the cheaper stuff out, and we always have a free box, so we'll give a lot of that away, and we price it here and then feed it into our shops in the morning. So I better get back to it. We'll never get it done. Another morning processing. We've finally got the van emptied, except for that old retro TV. So I don't think it's old enough or in good enough condition to sell. I might do a scrap out on it, but it's staying in the van at the moment because I don't have time for it to deal with it. But everything else out of the van's gone. Now, a couple of bits of furniture that we're just going to throw on the marketplace today. You might remember this Art Deco sort of buffet that came out of the shed. It's actually in pretty solid condition. There's no real issues other than I think someone's painted it at some stage. So the old veneer finish is no longer sort of nice. It's now got a bit of a khaki brown colour. But all the hardware's there. The keys work in the cupboards. The timber itself is actually in pretty good nick, but it's only a plywood one. So we're going to throw that on Facebook just for $20. Someone might do a project on it or something. It's not worth trying to make space in our shop and then we'd have to clean it up. This retro dressing table, much the same. It's going on Facebook for $20. Someone might have a use for it, or maybe even just a mirror. But again, we don't want to take space up in our shops with these low value things. And I'll plug this little bar fridge in today and give it a clean up. I think it's a goer. Whoops, the seals look okay, and if that goes, we'll get at least 50 for that. So we'll do that one today too. Okay, just checking in on the notepad. We're up to item number 230, and as you just saw, the bar fridge, well, I actually sold that today, first day out. We got our 50 for it, which when we tally up our takings at the end of each week, or however often we get around to doing it, we write the sold price in here. This is just a guide on what we price things at, but we did get our 50 for the bar fridge. The dressing table you saw, and the veneer cabinet, well, we sold the veneer cabinet on Facebook straight away within 3 or 4 hours. The dress is still there. Put the coffee table out first thing this morning and that's sold as well. So we're moving a bit of stuff pretty quickly, and that's how we like to work. So we won't take this video too much longer, but I will show you what we do with some of the shed stuff. This is just a random crate that I packed in the shed that day when it was pretty hot, and I'll just show you what I do with half of this stuff. This scraper is loose and I wouldn't bother trying to fix it because even in good order I'm only going to get $5 if I'm lucky. So that can just go straight in the dirty shred steel bin. These coach bolts, I do often throw them in a tub and they will sell, even though they're a bit dirty and lots of spider webs. They're not rusted, the threads are okay, and some farmer will buy them, so I'll put them in a tin, and when I get enough in a tin, and there's a few more in here, I'd ask $5 the lot, and they will sell pretty well. If you've ever been to a hardware and bought one large coach bolt, you've probably paid $5 or $6 for one bolt. So they sell well. If they're a bit too rusty, I throw them in the normal steel. All these brackets here, or spacers, or I'm not sure what they are, and I don't know what they're off. I don't think they're blades. Oh, they are blades. They've got a beveled edge on them, so perhaps they're blades to suit that. Okay, well that changes things. I will put all those in a little box with the timber handle and ask $5 a lot. What else have we got here? We've got some chrome taps. Now I won't put them in the brass, even though brass is paying really well at the moment, because that's a complete tap, and apart from having a wasp nest in the end of it, I usually get $5 to $10 for a chrome tap. That's a lot better than scrap price, and there's a few of those there. So I'll give them a quick clean up just with warm soapy water and a bit of steel wool, and they'll actually shine, they'll look new. So I'll probably put $10 each on those. Now the old extension cord, not worth testing or anything. I'll just chop the plugs off and the wire will go in with my insulated wire, which is paying about, I think around about $3 a kilo at the moment, which is very good. There's more of that. So old extension cords just go for scrap wire. It's not worth testing them, and then, well, for a start you'd have to rewire that end. It's not worth the time. A little bit of TV ribbon cable, and it looks like there's some small speaker wire, some larger wire, so that will pretty well all just go in insulated wire as well. Of course I'll have to chop the plugs off to get a good price, but that's fine. We have a old tyre pump and the hose is perished and broken, but the gauge looks okay and it probably still pumps air. Feels pretty good. I'm not going to fix the hose, it's not worthwhile, but I will put that in a box of assorted shed stuff for $1 a pick. So even though we don't get a lot for it, it keeps it out of landfill. I don't have to throw it out. Now the trimmer line, it's for a little electric trimmer, which we got one out of this lot and I took it home. It works fine, so I'll take that cord home and I'll use that. Now paints. We often get paints out of sheds, and as long as they're not set hard or rusted out, this one looks alright. I have a shelf in one of my rooms where I have assorted paints, $1 a can, and if they're still liquid, people will use them. That one feels like it's gone hard. So any that are still probably okay to be used, people will buy, and it's just $1 a can, and whether they just take it home and get the kids to paint the dog kennel or something, it doesn't really matter. The point is it's being used, it's not throwing to landfill. Any that are obviously gone hard or they've rusted out at the bottom, I put them in a tub and I take them to the transfer station where they have a section for paints, so they won't go into the general rubbish. A little bit of hardware there, that's really just a bit of cardboard, can go in the recycle bin. That looks like it's curtain, like a curtain hanging cable, yeah. So don't have an immediate use for that, but it's mostly steel, so that will go in with the dirty shred, which I now haven't got any because that one became a saleable item. What else is in here? Mineral terps, a little bit left in the bottom. I'll just take that home and top up my bottle of mineral terps, so it'll be used. Scrapers, that's a pretty good one. That's got a nice timber handle, and with a little bit of a scrub with steel wool, that will look great, and I'll get $5 for that. There's another scraper in here. Same deal, that's a nice old timber handle, I think. It's got a nice brass ferrule on it, so that's probably a $5 scraper as well. If they're a little bit worse than those, I would just put them in the dollar box. I always have a tub of old files in the shop at $1 each. Files are very expensive to buy new, and quite often they end up in people's sheds and they've only been used once. So I have no troubles getting $1 each for files. Now there's some linseed oil putty that's probably no good. It feels very hard. I don't think I can do much with that one. This one though, that might be okay. It's a bit soft. We'll check that. If it's any good, I'll take that home. We have a nice old jar here, and I don't know what's in it. Oh, it looks like staples. Hang on, I'll put the camera down and open it. Ah yes, they're galvanized staples, so they'll be saleable. I've got a half tin full of those at the moment, so I'll top that up. Probably get $5 a tin full. And that old jar cleaned up is probably worth $5. Nice vintage amber glass jar, probably 1950s. More paints. So if they're near full and pretty new, I'll certainly put $5 or $10 on them, but most of them I just put in the dollar pile because $1 is nothing to most people and they'll take it home. Paving paint, that feels alright. Easy $1 there. Wood stain, yep, that feels okay too. So we managed to get rid of all this without anything going to the tip. Another wood stain, I might take those two home. A little tobacco tin. Now, I might have opened this one in a previous video when I was in the shed, I don't remember. Oh no, just nails. Now they could either go straight in the scrap bin or occasionally I get a box with dividers in it, and I just put different size nails in each hole, and someone will buy it just to be, you know, a bit of useful hardware. Often people doing up old furniture like rusty nails too. They don't like to put new shiny ones in. Now the old paintbrush, that one's not much good. Can't really do much with that. Half the time paintbrushes just go so hard they're not really usable. That one's okay, and I'll probably use that one at home for something. It's worthwhile having a few old paintbrushes around, even just to wash like degrees old engines and things. It's handy to use those rather than wasting a new paintbrush. Again, that one's probably usable. Not sure what that is. Might have been an attachment off a little electric trimmer, and since I took that home I better keep that and just check. What's in the bottom here? Some brochures for paints, sample cards. I don't think they're old enough to be saleable. Certainly early paints, you know, early painting sample cards, you know, if it's 1930s or so, they're very interesting and they'd sell. These ones aren't old enough, but they are all paper and they can go in the recycle bin. So there we go. And what have we got left? A little bit of plastic can go in the soft plastics bag inside. Oh, there was some more here. What else was in here? Oh, there's another one of these scrapers. They can go into that $5 group. Some plastic, and there's something in that. Not sure what's in that. Let's have a look. Oh, we have some tap fittings. Well, I'm going to take them home because we've got an assorted box of tap fittings at home for the garden, and we're always looking for an adapter. If we end up with too many at home, I would put these all in an ice cream container just like they are. When it gets a bit, you know, half full or so, I'll put it in the shed for $5 a lot. In the shop, I mean, for $5 a lot, and someone will buy it. That screwdriver's no good, just a handle. Oh, actually it has got a blade on the end. Someone's resharpened it. Anyway, out of all that, we have some good value scrap, a few various lots to sell, a bit of stuff for home, some paint cans to sell, and really only a very old hard brush and a screwdriver handle to go in the bin to the tip. So when you take all your recycling out and when you allocate things, even if it's just $1, move it on, someone will use it. Even if I put it out the front for free, at least it goes to someone that can use it rather than going to the tip. We've probably got a few dollars worth of scrap here, and we would have not a lot of value, maybe 10, probably 30 for the taps, 5, quite a lot of dollar stuff. Probably not far short of $50 in value. Virtually no rubbish, some recycling. We've kept it all out of landfill, well, all except a couple of bits that will go in my rubbish bin. And that's how I process shed stuff. We do get a lot of good value out of sheds, and really if someone was cleaning out their house and didn't have a dealer like us come along, they would tip all this in the skip bin, in their dumpster, and it would go to landfill. They may pull out the brass taps, but pretty well I'll guarantee lots of nuts and bolts and paints and things go into the rubbish that should not. That gives you a bit of an idea what we do with shed stuff. And in the last video, in part 4 of this series, we'll give you a final rundown of how many items we ended up pricing, a rough valuation on what we think we'll get out of it. Christine's been making note of our hours we spend on the job, and we'll give you a bit of a top 10 of the best treasures we got out of this retro house. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.